KD is still the topic of the day. Gambo's still thinking that something is going to happen this week with Kevin Durant and that we might be entering the final stretch of the story that feels like we've been talking about it almost nonstop. It feels like for the last week or so.
Off days for the NBA Finals would be today, tomorrow, and then Friday.
Yeah. And we were talking about this. I'm glad you brought that up. We were talking about this behind closed doors in the prep room before the show. Look, if the story gets out, it gets out. If it gets leaked, it gets leaked. There's only so much the NBA can do to control that.
Right.
I highly doubt Adam Silver would want this news getting out on the day of Game 6 of the NBA Finals, which is Thursday. It just seems like that is counterintuitive to counter-program themselves like that by having news. I mean, it's already got to the point where they're talking more about Kevin Durant and where he's going to go than these finals themselves. I don't think the league would actively want this stuff to get out on the day of an NBA Finals game, especially when it could be done.
I mean, nothing against Desmond Bane, but we're talking about Kevin Durant here, okay? Desmond Bane was a big trade, but we're talking about Kevin Durant. It'll be hard not for everybody to turn their focus of attention to where Kevin Durant is going once this is announced.
So Brian Windhorst was on ESPN Cleveland today, and if you just, in the last segment of the show, we were talking about the Suns maybe trying to convince Kevin Durant to rethink his opposition to Minnesota. The offers so far are underwhelming from Houston and San Antonio and Miami. Brian today went there, and he listened to the very end of this 45-second soundbite because he went there.
It's a real stare down. Desmond Bane got traded for 4 first-round picks, and I see people saying, "Oh my God, if Desmond Bane gets traded for 4 first-round picks, Kevin Durant's got to get 6 first-round picks." No, you're not going to get that great of a package because the team paying for it isn't sure what Durant's going to do necessarily. And the teams that Durant wants to go to, Houston and San Antonio, for example, they're leery of paying a huge amount for a 37-year-old. Their whole teams are in their early to mid-20s.
Right.
So you don't have alignment in making everybody getting on the same page. What Durant wants, what the Suns need, what the teams want to pay with the contract. I would not rule out the Suns not being able to get a trade they like and having to make a decision like, do we not trade him at all?
And there it is. The Suns don't get an offer they like, and they don't trade him.
What's the benefit there?
Is that even on the benefit is that he becomes essentially an expiring contract for you, right? The benefit is exactly what we were talking about yesterday by trading him to a team that he doesn't want to go to, and it basically amounts to a massive salary dump. Basically, you keep Kevin Durant, it turns into a massive salary dump.
And you have the trade deadline. You could always move him
at the deadline if you wanted to. If there's a team
Kevin Durant came to Phoenix at the trade deadline.
Yep. And there's now I'm sure, I would imagine at this point, and I'm just guessing here, Kevin Durant is more than ready to leave. That Kevin Durant might not want to stay at this point anymore. I know what EJ said a few weeks ago about staying with the Suns on the Bickley and Murata show, but I got to imagine at this point KD's probably quite ready to hit the eject button and get out of here and not be around anymore.
You can't make a bad trade. You can't make a trade that brings on salary you don't want. You can't make a trade that gives you a 2 or 3 years of a guy that you don't really like and you don't really want, and you can't move somewhere else. You are better off just playing it for a year and then getting off. But you're $15 million over the apron. This isn't going to help you, as far as getting under the apron in a trade. It's not going to help you at all. You'd probably still be an apron team with Booker and Durant, and then God forbid you get stuck with Beal. God forbid. I know they don't want Beal, but
you're speaking for an entire city. When
oh man, they don't want him either. But they're handcuffed. They got to have him work with them to get out of here. So I am fascinated by that. Well, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I still think that they're going to be able to get a deal done. There's 6 teams, that are interested in Kevin Durant to some capacity. I think you'll be able to find a good deal that you like. I actually like the Timberwolves deal. I actually like it. I'm not saying it's a home run. But it's not a walk. I mean, it's a little bit. It's better than that.
The suggested Minnesota deal is like a Gobert, DiVincenzo, younger player,
a younger player and a draft pick. Yeah, could you get Dillingham? Could you get Shannon? Get the 17th pick? I don't mind that at all.
That's a long time to be stuck on that Gobert contract.
It's
a long time to be stuck. And I know he's a great defensive player.
He made Minnesota a top 5 defense. Like he protects Booker and everybody else who can't defend on this basketball team by having a guy there like that. He is great defensively. He can't score. He hurts you offensively.
Plays himself off the floor.
Can't play some fourth quarters because spacing. He takes away the space because he can't go out and pop a shot. You'd have to have a stretch 5 that you could mix and match with him. So I understand the negatives of Rudy Gobert, but there are positives. He's one of the great defensive players in the history of the game, and he's still good. So I don't mind Gobert. I think a lot of people don't want Gobert. I get it.
He's got a trade kicker. Mitch is pointing out to me on teams he's got a trade kicker too.
Yeah, you might be able to negotiate that out if it's possible. You can negotiate those out. I like Jabari Smith. If you make a deal with Houston, I like Jabari Smith. I've always liked Jabari Smith. I mean, you may not like Jalen Green, but I think there should be a deal to be made. But I can't rule that out. I don't know. I mean, would the Phoenix Suns just say, screw it? We talked to 6 teams for 2 weeks and we can't make a deal we want? Well, we're going to stick with Kevin. How do you bring Kevin Durant back?
I don't know how you bring Kevin. And again, I think you do have to factor into, does Kevin Durant want to come back, or has he made it clear that he wants no part of this anymore? And look, this is where I know there was a headline in the Arizona Republic today, AZ Central, about the Suns lowering their price on Kevin Durant. I don't know if it's a lowering the price or if it's just more of a kind of getting used to the reality that it's not going to be a great deal, right? Like, you just hope it's a good deal. You hope it's a good enough deal. But if you feel like the offers just aren't where they should be from Houston or San Antonio or Miami, and he doesn't acquiesce and he wants to go to Minnesota, I mean, unless you just... If Toronto comes through at the last minute or the Clippers
I hate the Toronto deal.
You do?
What was it? The Toronto deal.
RJ Barrett.
Terrible contract.
Jakob Poeltl and the ninth pick in the draft, something
quickly,
like that. And quickly. Yeah.
Don't like Barrett. Don't like quickly. Jakob Poeltl's a top 20 center in the league. He's a better backup on most teams than he is a starter, but he could start on 7 or 8 or 9 teams. I hate the Toronto deal. The only thing you like is the 9th pick. So I talked to an NBA executive on another team today. He said it's a 2-player draft. It's Flagg and Harper. Then it's 2 to 8. Your next round is 2 to 8. After 8, 9 and 17 are the same similar players. They're similar players. What you would get at 9, what you would get at 14, what you would get at 17 is a similar player. The Toronto deal is one I don't like at all. If they make the Toronto deal, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like the deal. I think it's a terrible deal. I would say that the Suns are big losers if they make that Toronto deal.
I think at this point we need to be prepared to be underwhelmed. Be prepared to be underwhelmed by this. We'll see. But this whole thing is kind of taking a tone that I like, a shift in tone that I don't love over the last 24 hours, whether it's the Minnesota thing, the lack of great offers from the other teams, this idea now they could just keep him. I don't like the tone of how this conversation is going.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.